Welcome to Reddit Tea Time. Am I the bonehead for not showing up to my sister's wedding and calling her ungrateful? My 29 male sister Ashley, 27 female, had her wedding yesterday, but I didn't attend it. 2 years or so ago, when she was going through medical depression and required treatment, I had helped her. She didn't have the money, and I was the one who paid everything for her, etc. None of her friends had helped, and neither did any of our other relatives. Much later, when she had gotten out of her issues, I once urgently required some money. I asked her, and she refused by saying she can't help and to not bother her about it again. I was shocked, considering how much I had spent for her, and when she continued to refuse, I asked her whether she had forgotten what I had done for her. Ashley asked me how I can say that I cured her when it was the medicines that worked, and that I wasn't the doctor. She said it was the medicines and the doctor that treated her and not me. I didn't argue. When the wedding date was fixed, I told her that I am not coming. She was surprised and asked me why, and I told her that I have better things to do with my time than attending weddings of people like her. She got mad and asked me what my problem was and that she wants everyone to be present. She asked me to not insult her. I told her that she herself had insulted me by brushing away everything I did for her, and that she's extremely ungrateful for not helping me with money when she could have. I told her I hadn't even asked her back the money I had spent on her, but she had no humanity at all. We had an argument, and everyone asked me to forget about what she said and to attend. But I didn't attend her wedding, and I didn't even congratulate her. Am I the bonehead? Edit. I had asked her for $600 and spent around $15,000 to $20,000 for her treatment. I know she had the money because she'd recently got a job that was high enough and she would have been able to pay me. The wedding was being paid for by our parents and the grooms. No, I didn't say that I had cured her per se. I told her that I had paid for her medications and treatment, which essentially helped in curing and treating her. Now for some comments. Not the bonehead. You didn't help me. The doctors and the medicine did, so I don't owe you anything. You didn't take me to work daily for a year, your car did, so I don't owe you anything. You didn't feed me. The food from the supermarket did, so I don't owe you anything. I would want to stay as far away as possible from a person that uses this kind of logic. Not the bonehead. It is one thing if she had said, I can't help you because I don't have the money, which would have been fair, but forgetting who paid for treatment is a nasty move. That being said, I would be very clear with the rest of the family as to why you refused to go. Don't be insulting. Just state how this happened and made you feel. Not the bonehead. Obviously, your help for her isn't transactional, and she isn't the bonehead for not giving you money, but she is the bonehead for brushing you off like that and not being grateful. Her not appreciating what you did for her, again, this is done by actions and not money, is a fair reason to not come to her wedding. Am I the bonehead for reminding and telling my daughter we are only paying for 4 years of college? Me and my wife are well off and we are very grateful to it. We have 4 children and this is about our 3rd kid, Bella. We have a rule for college and it is get your degree in 4 years. We'll pay for it. And if you graduate earlier, we'll give you extra money for your own use. For example, my oldest graduated in 4 years and has no debt. My 2nd oldest graduated early, took summer classes, and we gave him money that he's using for a down payment on a home. If they're doing a 5-year program, we'll pay, but if they leave that program for a normal one, then it goes back to 4. Now Bella has changed her major twice already, and she's a junior right now. She told us that she's changing her major again. I reminded her we're only paying for 4 years. This is where we got in an argument. She's upset that we won't pay, even though we have the cash. My argument is we told her before, and we aren't changing how we do it. By the end of it, she called me an unsupportive parent and a jerk for having her go into debt for pursuing her passion. Am I the bonehead? She won't talk to me at the moment. Edit. Thanks for all the advice. I'm sticking with my decision. I'm not willing to do this, especially if breaking the condition for her will hurt my oldest children emotionally. Now for some comments. Not the bonehead. I understand the reasoning. It's to ensure that they remain motivated to study for their course and not to flip-flop around. If she has already switched courses a couple of times, I'd argue she doesn't know what her passion is. I think an argument can be made that if she's so unsure about what to study, maybe it's best she comes back to it later in life. There's no logical reason to waste money and time studying for something 1, you might not finish, or 2, you might not pursue after graduating. Not the bonehead. You're providing a great opportunity for your children, but that opportunity shouldn't be confused with limitless choices. She's a junior. She should be surrounded by people having problems making rent, people having to work 2 jobs or juggle children. She should be in the perfect space to be aware of her great luck. I understand changing your major and finding yourself, etc. It doesn't always happen at a convenient time in life. But that also has nothing to do with you, or your money, or your generosity. Besides, she should have most of the core classes done now for her BA. She should be in a position to graduate with something, and then get a job to pay for the few niche classes per semester that she's found she really wants to do. It'll take longer and be more painful, but, well, that's life, not the bonehead. My parents had the same rule with me, and I have the same rule with my kids. Given how expensive college is, this is a common sense policy. Am I the bonehead for telling my husband he needs to draw clear lines with the mother for his child? My husband has a daughter from a previous relationship. For context, she's 5 years old. Prior to us getting married, my husband and his ex-girlfriend had what seemed like a well-oiled machine when it came to co-parenting their daughter. I've always said I wouldn't date men with children. I don't have any children of my own yet, because I didn't want that extra baggage. But, to be honest, it was their co-parenting relationship that put my mind at ease to become comfortable with the idea of becoming serious about him. I love my husband and his daughter dearly. However, her mother is slowly becoming a pain in my butt. Prior to me being in the picture, all expenses for their daughter have been split 50-50. There were no problems besides the little oddball expenses here and there that my husband had to cover 100%. Again, nothing major. It all started over the summer. My husband's ex-girlfriend wanted to go out of the country for a 2-week trip. She asked my husband if he could pay for their daughter 100%. At first he advised that he would, but then it dawned on him that she has been pulling this kind of stunt for a few months now, where all of a sudden she's unable to pay for her portion of their daughter's expenses. He then advised her that he will pay for half, as they've both been doing for years. I don't think she was too happy with that, but they went on their trip in the summer and all seemed to be well, until it was time for school. She advised him that she will not be able to pay for half of their daughter's tuition as she's been doing, along with her portion of the household expenses for the home that she shares with their daughter, which in essence means that he's going to be expected to fill the gap. As a result of all that's happening, my husband advised that now wouldn't be the best time for us to start our own family, as he would be stretched too thin financially. We have been talking about having a baby for the past few months, and we're about to start trying. Quite frankly, I'm pissed that we have to put the start of our family on hold due to his ex not being able to pull her weight financially. Am I the bonehead for telling him that he needs to draw clear lines? That his only responsibility is his daughter, and his ex needs to figure out her crap and start pulling her financial weight again like she's been doing? Now for some comments. Not the bonehead. She suddenly can't pay for childcare expenses right after a 2-week international vacation? Ex-girlfriend has decided to try to squeeze as much money as she can get out of your husband. Not the bonehead, but they need a formal agreement as to parenting and payment of expenses. If she can't afford the school the child has been going to, then the child can go to public school. He should not be paying for her vacations with mom. That is for mom to pay for, or she can leave the child home with him while she goes. This isn't a draw clear lines. It is get a formal agreement and hold her to it. She can't pay her half of the home? Then sell the home and she can figure out her place to live. My sticking point in all of this? Why on earth would he pay anything for a 2-week international vacation that he was not attending? He very much needs to get a court order stating exactly how much he has to pay for anything. Mom needs to figure her own finances out. I say this as a single mom. OP replied, when this was brought up initially, my first reaction is, why are you taking a trip you can't afford to go on? I said this to my husband. She asked us to keep her for the 2 weeks she would be gone for. We didn't have a problem with that, but she's very sneaky. She was talking about both of them going on this trip prior to her asking us to keep her. My husband's daughter thought she was going all along. Then her mom said, well, mom can't afford it for the both of us. You have to stay with daddy. Which to me is pretty messed up, because why build up a child's hope then crush it? She then said, well, I don't have a problem taking her. You just have to pay for her portion of the trip. It's the manipulating I don't like. When we have her for weekends and weeks for trips and so on, we cover all those expenses. She's never asked to chip in. Am I the bonehead for not letting my wife babysit her nieces and nephews even though she wants to? I'll keep this short. My wife has 2 younger sisters that she doesn't get along with at all, to the point they weren't invited to our wedding because she just knew they would ruin it. During family gatherings at my wife's parents' house, her sisters always take the chance to disrespect my wife. She ignores them for the most part and doesn't have much contact with them. Other than events, she contacts them to babysit her nieces and nephews. I don't mind them, they're good kids. However, it's clear her sisters just see her as free childcare. Recently, they've been dumping their kids on us more often. If it's not at home, then it's at her workplace. My wife works at a salon, and the kids just sit until sisters-in-law come to pick them up. It's to the point I don't even consider babysitting anymore, more like they want my wife to take all the parts of being a mom they don't want. My wife is currently staying home because of health issues, yet she's still accepted to babysit sisters-in-law's kids. I turned sisters-in-laws away at the door and blocked it so my wife wouldn't open it. This was 2 days in a row. My wife is currently mad at me, so I'm wondering if I'm the bonehead. Now for some comments. You're the bonehead. You may be right, but here's where you went wrong. You said, I turned sisters-in-law away at the door and blocked it so my wife wouldn't open it. This was 2 days in a row. You need to respect your wife's judgment. If you disagree, you need to sit down and have a discussion about it and come to a decision together. Reactively taking control of a situation is simply controlling behavior and is not a good solution to this problem. In fact, you are now a part of the problem. You're the bonehead. If your concern is understandable, but the way you handled it is pretty controlling and out of line. If you're concerned this is contributing to her ill health, you need to sit down and have a discussion about it so that you can come to an agreement about what is best for your family. Ultimately, if it's not affecting you or your family, the relationship is hers to manage, and it should be her decision about how much she wants to give and how she wants to spend her time. You can teach her to stand up for herself by supporting her decisions instead of undermining them, not the bonehead. Your wife is wanting to watch the kids, and that is fine, but you're also helping in watching those kids, and you were not asked. I get that the kids don't need to suffer what the mom does, but that behavior is extreme. You need to sit your wife down and let her know that if she wants to continue to watch the kids, you will not stop her, but it will not be in your home because unless you both decide it is okay, then she needs to go to their house and she can watch them all she wants. I assume that you help her, and that is why she doesn't mind. But if you remove the extra help, then maybe she can see that her health is more important than what her sister is doing to her regarding using those kids to get what she wants. What do you think? Please like and tell me in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell because you don't want to miss a single Reddit story. In the meantime, please take care of yourself. I'll see you soon.